So I've spent the day after Christmas catching up on more Lana Turner movies because obviously Lana Turner has taken over my life. And I have calculated that by the time all the Lana Turner movies are done airing um, today and tomorrow, and I watch them, I'll only have 9 of her films left to find and watch. And then I'll have seen all the Lana Turner movies, not counting her television. Um, because, we're debating about TV versus movies these days. So what I watched today, and I'm taking like a half-hour break because there's more Lana Turner on tonight. Ugh, I've become an addict. I just love her so much. She's so good. So I started with one that I actually missed from the first week, but thankfully we reshowed it during Christmas. This was 1938's Love Finds Andy Hardy. And I say thankfully because I love Lana Turner and I am a completist. But I was not a fan of this movie. I don't find Andy Hardy charming as portrayed by Mickey Rooney. I am not a Mickey Rooney hater categorically. Obviously, Breakfast at Tiffany's notwithstanding. But generally, I like him. And there's some films that he's in where I'm like, you're really good. But I can't stand the Andy Hardy movies, the Judge Hardy films. Like, I can't stand them. So I watched this solely to check it off the list. In it, it's the first of Judge Hardy films where Andy Hardy's name is in the title. In it, his girlfriend Polly, played by Margaret Rutherford, has gone out of town for Christmas, and his friend needs him to watch his girlfriend for him, his girlfriend played by Lana Turner, and so that she doesn't go with somebody else while he's out of town. And Andy needs $8 more to pay for a car that he wants to buy, so he takes the gig. At the same time, his neighbor is being visited by her granddaughter, played by Judy Garland. Judy Garland's character can sing. Obviously, it's Judy Garland, and she's supposed to be the daughter of a big Broadway star. By the end of the film, all of the girls basically leave him behind except Judy Garland, and he finally realizes that she's great because she's the most important and impressive of all of the girls that he was going around with, and all that matters in this film is how you look to other people. It's awful, and I did not enjoy it. But Judy Garland is adorable, and she sings a really great song about being a preteen that I appreciated. And if the whole movie had been about Judy Garland, I would have enjoyed it immensely. And I like that Lana Turner has her red hair still. I enjoy the early Lana Turner films where she was still a redhead, although there's some real weird anti-redhead stuff in some of these older movies. It's a little strange. The next film I watched is my favorite that I watched of all of these, and this is 1952's The Merry Widow. So I've seen the silent version, and I've seen the Maurice Chevalier version. I really don't like that one because it's Maurice Chevalier and Jeanette MacDonald, like the most worst combination of screen actors you could possibly put in front of my face. I hate both of them. I really do. And or I just don't like them. So I was hesitant to watch this because I just really didn't like that version. This version is delightful. It's directed by Curtis Bernhardt. He did that great later Possessed film with Joan Crawford and Van Heflin and several other films. But in this one, Lana Turner is the titular Merry Widow. Her best friend is played by Una Merkel. They are so good. Fernando Lamas is the hot count that needs to flirt with the Merry Widow in order to get her money to save the kingdom of Marchovia. This is set in the turn of the century, and Lana Turner's character is supposed to have $80 million, which I calculated to be about $2.3 billion in today's economy. So she's like majorly rich. She discovers that they're trying to woo her for her money, so she pretends that Una is her and she's a penniless person, and she visits I'm forgetting the name of it, that famous turn of the century place in France. Oh my god, Maxim's. She visits Maxim's, and the Count, played by Fernando Lamas, is like swooning over all the girls. All the girls are swooning over him, and then it's beautiful. And there's this great dance sequence with Gwen Verdon that like made my life complete. And she gets him to fall in love with her, even though he thinks she's penniless. And then later, he discovers that she's not penniless and that she was tricking him and he was tricking her, and all of the shenanigans that happened in The Merry Widow. But it's gorgeous and Technicolor and beautiful and just a candy-coated dream, and I really, really, really enjoyed it. So look for that one. I think this is from Warner Archive Collection as well because it's with MGM. The next one I watched was mostly I liked this one. This was 1953's Latin Lovers, directed by Mervyn LeRoy, and in it, it's written by Isabel Lennart, who also wrote Holiday Affair. So I was getting into something good. In it, Lana Turner is a millionairess with $37 million, which is roughly about $300 million today, who is not sure she loves her fiance, played by John Lund, and like you're not going to love him when John Lund is your fiance and the other guy is Ricardo Montalban, He has $48 million. He goes down to Brazil to play polo. She follows him and falls in love with Ricardo Montalban, who also happens to be rich. It's MGM. Everyone's rich in this movie, but it's in beautiful Technicolor. And it also includes some great shots with Gene Hagen wearing glasses. And Louis Calhern is really quite great in this film. And it's just a gorgeous sort of mid-century travelogue, and it feels like looking at a 1953 full color like National Geographic, except that it moves. It's gorgeous and great, and for the most part has a good message, and I liked how sassy Lana got to be in this. It was one of those comedies she didn't get to do enough of, and she and Ricardo Montalban have really great chemistry together, and he's so gorgeous, and he sings like 3 songs, so I really loved it. Oh, what I wanted to say I forgot about The Merry Widow was it's kind of a musical, but it's everything that I love about musicals and none of the stuff that I hate about musicals. And so it's like probably people who really love musicals are going to say it's not musical enough, and it was just right for me. Same with this one. I love all the lushness without all the ridiculousness of the 50s musicals. So this brings us to the last one I watched. This is Betrayed from 1954, starring Clark Gable and Victor Mature. This is the last Clark Gable Lana Turner film. They gave her a horrible brunette haircut. It was awful. I can't even understand why they put her in that. The hairstyle is terrible and the color is terrible. It's all terrible, and I'm like, Lana, why? In it, they're all intelligence officers trying to infiltrate Dutch resistance for the British. And it's a spy film, a war film. It really needs restoration. I think the color is just a mess. And I'm sure it was beautiful when it was first shot. It gets a little complicated. I think Victor Mature is quite good. I don't think Lana Turner's really given much to do. She has one moment where she sings, and it's wonderful. Clark Gable is starting to get kind of old and tired at this point in his career, and this movie did not do him any favors. So I would say this is a completist film only for Gable and Turner fans and Victor Mature fans, but otherwise you can probably skip it. So I have a whole bunch more Lana Turner to watch, and then the 9 that aren't being on TCM that I'm gonna track down, and I'm gonna finish her filmography because I love her so much. But you should watch all the Lana Turner. These ones are expiring tomorrow, I think, on Watch TCM, and then there's gonna be 11 more, so you're never gonna run out until you do, and then I don't know, I'm gonna have a big hole in my life. I think that's okay. I'll fill it with something else.